So I'm here with.
Uh, Johnny B, former drummer for Snack the Ripper.
Nice to meet you, Johnny. How old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
And where are you from originally?
I grew up in a small town in northern Alberta called High Level. We're about 2 hours south of the Northwest Territories. So I didn't really get to come to the city much or anything like that. But when I turned 18, I was like, there's got to be more to life than this small town. So it's up and made the move.
How was your childhood growing up in High Level?
I grew up I grew up in a Christian family, but I grew up with an alcoholic dad, and he used to beat me and my mom. I grew up during the week our family was upside down, but come Sunday morning we're a perfect Christian family.
Do you have any siblings?
I have one sister. She's my half sister. We didn't grow up together or anything, but we kind of got together as adults, and I got a relationship with my sister. But other than that, we didn't grow up together.
Well, you do have a relationship with her now that you're older.
Yeah. Like she's 36. I'm 28, so she's almost 10 years old. Me, fucking not 8 years old. Me, but she 3 nephews, and yeah, I build houses full time. I'm a full time framer. I still play drums mostly just from my friends as a hobby. But last year, I was on my way to rehearsals for Snack the Ripper in Vancouver, and this girl I was engaged to at the time, her friend drove us, and we got in like a 3-car rollover outside of Kamloops, and my ex-girlfriend now, but she's a paraplegic, and we had a 5-month-old baby on the way, and I lost my baby, and I ended up fucking getting replaced, and life's just kind of been dull ever since.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it is what it is, but you know, life works in mysterious ways, so does God, and I can't question either of them, so.
How was it? Did you get injured in the accident?
No, I walked away. Like I was the one that like the car was upside down in the passenger seat. Like the whole front side of the roof was like crushed down, and I heard her like calling me, and I like bent down. Her chin was like down to here, and so I knew her neck was broken. She was upside down, and I had to like unbuckle the seatbelt and like cradle her out of the vehicle, and I like sat on my hands and knees trying to make sure she wouldn't die until the ambulance got there. Yeah, it was a pretty rough year, but we're on the come up. I just got back into a couple more bands, started doing recording sessions again, trying to get back in the saddle.
So what brought you to Edmonton?
Honestly, I grew up in a town where there's nothing at all. We had like an A&W, a Subway, Boston Pizza, and like some local restaurants or whatever. Like nothing, no McDonald's, no nothing. And my parents are quite a bit older than me, so I never really they're not city people. So when I turned 18, I was like, I've been playing drums since I was 6. Like my dad's been playing in bands since he was roughly around the same age. I grew up playing in church, and yeah, I ended up moving here when I was 18. I met some of the boys I know now, and we formed a group, and we used to call ourselves Colicon. It was about 10 of us deep, and we're all rappers, and I was the only drummer. And then we won a spot to open up for Snack the Ripper, and after that is when I got my shot with Snack. I did 3 tours with him, and I got 1 album, Shake It Out. It's called Pissing Off the Neighbors, Snack the Ripper, Volume 1.
Nice. How was it going on tour?
Man, it was crazy. I had to sign a contract to stay sober, Like no drinking, no nothing. Like he's very professional. But we could smoke as much weed as we wanted, which is cool. But it was crazy though. Like I seen all of Canada. We were on tour for 2.5 months. Only place I didn't go was the Maritimes. I seen Montreal, Toronto, Victoria, Vancouver, all of it. Like it was quite the experience, and especially for me, like growing up from a kid from northern Alberta, all we have is trees up there. We don't have any big bodies of water, so getting to go to Vancouver Island for the first time is pretty big. Seeing a large body of water.
Where would you say was your favorite show?
Favorite show, second last show was in Toronto, and we played at this place called Lee's Palace, and Nirvana played there quite a bit back in the day. So there's like Kurt Cobain memorabilia, Dave Grohl memorabilia all over there. So probably for me, most memorable was being on the same stage that some of my idols were on. That was a big thing for me. And also, when I played in Grand Prairie, Alberta, my parents are super old. They haven't been to a bar in like 30 years. So they came out to see me at the show in Vancouver. And I got my dad to sound check my drums with me that night. So that was kind of like a big deal for me. But mostly the Toronto thing.
Nice. Is this something that you'd want to get back into?
I'm still doing it, man. Like I'm still drumming. I still have sessions. Like I'm homeless, but I like all my gear is like safe. Like I just kind of sleep at the shelter. I work full time, build houses. But yeah, I'm trying to get back to it. Like I took a year off because of the accident, all that shit, and like it's not something that you can just recover over a year. But music's been a huge part of my life since I was about 6 years old, and it's just certain things that you won't let go of. It's like riding a bike, you never forget it, right?
What led you to becoming homeless?
I grew up north where addiction was basically secondhand. And I grew up with an alcoholic father. I started drinking at the age of like 14. By the time I was 16, I was fully smoking pot. By the time I was 18, I was like doing perks, sniffing coke. By the time I was going to the bar, and it was just like everybody just did it up there. It was kind of just something that it's a lifestyle you kind of got sucked into. And then during my traumatic experiences, I've been in a couple car accidents where I just about died, and it's just like trying to numb out the pain. So a lot of days where I wish, like, especially times I have to go to the studio and stuff, sometimes it's hard. Like you have to really learn how to turn your brain off and come to terms with what's real and what's not.
How would you say it is being homeless in Edmonton?
It all depends how you take care of yourself. Like, I mean, like I seem like I dress pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like I take care of myself. I have a full-time job. I still do studio sessions. I don't know. It's all perception. It's all how you want to be seen. Like some of the people I see downtown, I would never look like that. Like presentation is everything for me. You know what I mean? Just because I might have a hard week, sleep at the shelter or whatever, it doesn't define who I am as a person.
So,
and addiction goes hand in hand with everything at the shelter, but as long as you can keep your head above water and you know who you are as a person and you trust yourself and your well-being, you can handle yourself.
and how is it staying at the shelter?
It's a dog pound, man. If anybody's seen that movie, Dog Pound from like 2016, it's a pretty rough place. Like you can't leave anything laying around. Even when you sleep, like even my phone, everything, like I put it like my crotch, everything. Like fucking, like you leave your jacket laying there and you try to go take a piss, 9 times out of 10 your jacket's gone. Like they feed you and stuff like that, but like people are like shooting up in the bathrooms and stuff. Like it's it's pretty crazy. Like I'm just there for like kind of like a place to stay. Like I'm not a junkie. I'm an alcoholic maybe, but other than that, it's. I grew up in a pretty well off home, I'd say, and just being here, it's humbling. Very humbling.
What would you say is the most crazy thing you've experienced in the last 6 months being homeless?
Like out on the streets or in jail?
Either or.
Well, I've been on the streets. We were just sitting like right over here by Bissell Center, just around the corner. There's like they got a bunch of block benches, and I watched this guy just like I was like having a cigarette, and I watched this guy shoot up in front of me, and he just like started twitching out, and started puking and vomiting and all over himself. He overdosed right there, and then I was in jail for a little bit for some drug possession charges, and this is like a year ago, and I watched this kid at like 8 in the morning get stabbed in the neck with a pencil like at the med line. Just came behind us Korean kids. He had like Korean syllabus all over his face and shit. And he came behind this kid and just stabbed him in the neck. But he lived, but it was pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you say it's pretty rough in the jails here?
Man, like I look white, but my mom's a cardinal, so like mostly I'm Native more than anything. But in the jails here, people have no respect for Native people. They have no respect for the culture. They have no respect for anything. People are just there for paychecks. Like guards, they're just there for a paycheck, man. Like that's all I could say. I spent enough time in there to know. But
So there's visible racism still.
yeah, of course. Like it's a stigmatism. Like people look at me, and then look at like some of my friends, and it says, "You're white. Why do you hang out with them?" I was like, I might look white, but I was like, I'm Native. I'm Cardinal. My last name is well known around everywhere, really. But I'm from up north, but people look at me and stigmatize me as I'm white. But I would rather roll with my Cardinal family than my white side, honestly. Been there for me more times than I can count. So family is definitely a huge part. Family's thicker than water. Blood's thicker than water. So.
And what do you think can be done to help other homeless people here in Edmonton?
Honestly, you can't help nobody that doesn't want to be saved. That's just like straight up. Like if you want out of addiction, you want out of addiction. Like, you know, like I've been out here for going on a month, and my vice is alcohol, and like some of these guys is crazy drugs. Like you see them like nodding out needles in their arms and shit. Like I look at that and I was like, I don't ever want to step there. Like I try to take care of myself the best that I can. I got a full-time job, and everything. I just have a place to live. Me and my girlfriend broke up. And didn't really have any. I don't have any family here. So.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.